It is common knowledge among tax accountants and experts that high net worth individuals moving to a low tax state will almost certainly be audited. High tax states such as California, New York, and New Jersey are carrying out residency audits more and more aggressively. These states stand to lose millions in tax revenue as many of their wealthy citizens relocate to Puerto Rico for the island's tax savings and Caribbean lifestyle. If you relocate to Puerto Rico and become the object of a residency audit from your former state or the federal government, what should you do? In this video, we explain what to expect from a residency audit and how to prove your residency in Puerto Rico. Use location services on your phone. Auditors now rely heavily on cell phone tracking, which can reveal not only where calls are made and received, but in some cases track data even when you're not using your phone. All Act 60 participants should allow location services on their phones to use as documentation. Apps like Moneo, TaxDay, and TaxBird track users' days spent in each state and alert them as they near their 183-day limit. Minimize ties to your former state. Enroll your children in Puerto Rican schools and engage in local social clubs. Bring items of sentimental value to your new home in Puerto Rico, such as jewelry, heirlooms, and valuable collections. Classify your former home as a rental property. Retain a brokerage agreement and proof of attempts to rent the property, if not actual rental income. Regarding businesses, most states, including New York and California, place more importance on an individual's day-to-day active participation rather than their passive investments. If an Act 60 resident formerly owned or led a business still active in any state, they should document any and all contact with that business, including the various purposes of each phone call or meeting. Your first few years in Puerto Rico will be crucial to establishing the island as your bona fide domicile. You should not go back to your former state during the first 2 years in order to prove that you have left it. How to prove your location to New York and California. Even though many states make it difficult to prove your location, New York State has by far the most restrictive regulations. Due to the large number of daily interstate commuters it receives, New York State considers even 1 minute spent inside its borders as an entire day, with very few exceptions. Act 60 participants with secondary homes or businesses in New York should retain as much to-the-minute location data as possible, especially when working or traveling in the tri-state area near New York City, including New Jersey and Connecticut. In contrast, California is more subjective. Generally speaking, you can be a resident of California for tax purposes after a few days or months. This means that the purpose of your time in California is often more important than how much time you spend in the state. Act 60 participants visiting the state for work or family reasons need to prove that a stay in California not only looks like it's for temporary purposes, but in fact is for temporary purposes as a matter of law. Document everything. When carrying out residency audits, auditors rely on records such as credit card statements, flight occupancy records, doctor's records, E-ZPass records, swipe cards, and even social media for 3 to 8 years or even longer, starting from the time you leave your former state. The evidence that Act 60 applicants must gather to prove their status as bona fide Puerto Rican residents can be invaluable in the case of a residency audit. Examples of valid evidence include changing your voter registration, driver's license, principal bank accounts, mailing address, places of work, charitable contributions, religious or athletic club affiliations, and even the location of family gatherings to reflect your move to Puerto Rico. An important warning: don't try to game the system. You will lose. If you really intend to move out of state, move out of state. This is perhaps the best way to avoid losing a residency audit.